Welcome to today's podcast interview. I brought on Jason Medlock. Jason, welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing, Heather?
Good. Please give listeners a little background. Where do you live and what do you do?
I'm in Houston, Texas. I'm in a suburb called Missouri City, Texas. I'm an author, mindset coach, quantum healing hypnotist, and I enjoy helping people unlock their true self. I enjoy helping people to learn, to transform, evolve, and awaken. Basically to their true essence of who they are. And I do that a number of different ways. But I came to be, always a young boy in church, just wondering, playing with toys at church, just a 9-year-old, and everybody's praying, and I'm praying too, and I'm playing with toys, and I'm just wondering, okay, well, who are they praying to? I'm young, and I know it's God, but I'm like, okay, so why haven't I seen them yet? As time went on, get a little older, you understand that, hey, God is, all around us. And I love that image of him. And I understood that, but I just kept feeling that there was something else involved. And I just didn't know what it was. And, years later, my sister helped me evolve into understanding what metaphysics truly was, and the law of attraction, and vision boarding. And the fact that we could, just by thinking of it, just by being very, very, very into pulling people to us and making it actually happen, that just really blew my mind. Looking at a vision board every day and thinking it. And I was just wondering, how did all that work? So it brought me here today through
Yeah.
study, research, through being quiet time. It just, this is where I'm at today, from a very quick synopsis on how I started.
Yeah, and that's why I love this work and talking about it. As an example, Mike Dooley, I love his trademark quote, thoughts become things. And I feel, we all have the power within to create whatever it is we want, but a lot of people through conditioning and subconscious mind kind of fall suit to what we're conditioned to do. You go to college, you get a degree, you climb the corporate ladder, and then you die. And I think a lot of us are waking up and realizing, oh, there's so much more opportunities and potential. And I can love my life and I can live in abundance. But before we start there, something we were talking about in the pre-call that I truly want to deep dive the idea of, The Matrix. And it's a movie, it's 20 some years old, at least 22 years old. I finally watched it a year or two ago because I'd never watched it. And being in this work, it's referenced a lot. So I had to watch it. And it's the idea of taking the red pill or the blue pill. But I'd love to hear from you, your perception. What is the Matrix? And that, we are characters in this movie.
Well, the first time I heard that concept of were characters playing a part, playing a role, was from the legendary Dolores Cannon. And I'm a quantum healing hypnotist practitioner. And I learned through the Dolores Cannon School of Hypnosis, and her daughter, Julia Cannon, taught it. And on video, Dolores gives so many different nuggets as she's going through the training in level one. And she gives us so many different exercises and live healing sessions. And in one of the sessions, Dolores talked about, we're all here playing a part. We're in a movie. We're all characters in this entire thing. And how she talks like she's your mom. And I said, wow, I've heard that with so many different gurus, Bruce Lipton, Billy Carson, you name it. And this idea of this matrix that we're in is just what it is. We incarnate as energy, as spirits, into the avatars, into the bodies that we're in, and we give it life. But
Yeah.
what's so brilliant about these human avatars is that they have their own free will. And we think that we walk around having, we're smart and we know this, and yeah, we know the weather is going to be hot. Our consciousness is not even localized. Our consciousness is being in from a higher place, a higher source. That lets you know there that these avatars are brilliantly made. We're in a matrix and we're playing a part. Well, what is the part, Jason? We're here to learn. Earth is one of the toughest learning grounds in the entire galaxy. I learned this concept from Dolores Cannon that we've incarnated millions of places, but Earth is one of the toughest because of the way it's set up, because of the diversity, the love, the hate, all the things that go on here. And we have to really, really be careful because you asked me a minute ago, well, what do you mean by that comment? We're in the matrix. Well, we're here to learn, we're here to co-create, and we're here to figure out our way back to oneness, which is source.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may have a deja vu. Sometimes you may say, well, didn't I say that before? I know I've seen her before. And some of the gurus and the experts say that is a glitch in the matrix. Billy Carson talks about glitches in the matrix. He has a huge podcast over that. So when we talk about living in the matrix, my basis for it is that we incarnate from energy, from the spirit realm into the avatar to live out this life in this particular reality. And we both know that there are several different dimensions. And a piece of energy, of God's energy, we call it God particle, is in each avatar, in each dimension. In some dimensions, we have no bodies, but there is a life being lived. And why? And one more thing, why is it set up that way? So that source can experience through that avatar physicality in the physical.
Okay. I don't want to lose anybody because I think some people, this might be a little bit new, this concept, this idea. Now, I believe we're fully immersed. I love this stuff. I geek out on it. Two movies come to mind, and I want to see if you've seen either of them. One is Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds. Have you seen that? I think it's
I
by
haven't
Disney.
seen that one, but I will now.
Okay, so Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds to the T it's literally a quote video game and his name is Guy. So the movie's all about freeing Guy from this I can't think of the tech term, but it's more or less a video game. And he doesn't realize he's in a video game. Same shit, different day. So to me, it was Matrix remade in present day. The second one that comes to mind is a Disney movie called Soul, which I just rewatched a few days ago. Have you seen Soul?
I haven't, but I'll watch that one too. I haven't seen those, but yes, I'll watch that one.
Okay, so again, and look, these messages are anywhere, and I believe it's that whole idea when the student is ready, the teacher appears, whether it's through a song, that chorus is going to pop out for us, a book may come, the movies, whatever. But the idea that, holy shit, wait a minute, I'm so much more than my cousin calls it a meat suit. We are so much more than this body. And I would love to talk about that. There is so much emphasis on the body. But let's talk about the importance of energy, consciousness, our mind, because the way I say it is the mind is the cause of every effect in our life.
Absolutely. And when there's a saying that, and again, I quote Dolores because I'm a disciple of Dolores Cannon. We don't really start living until we actually leave the avatar. And that everything that you would ever want in your life starts from within you. And people ask me all the time, where is God? Or how can I find God? How can I be closer to God? And I always say to them, the answer lies within you.
Yeah.
And our consciousness is the awareness of everything around us, the levels in which we think, the frequency in which we that we're on, and how we vibrate as human beings. I know we're getting into some other stuff, but frequency and vibration is the way, for us to elevate our consciousness. And there are a lot of different techniques to do that.
Yeah.
But once you elevate your frequency and you elevate your vibration, your consciousness is elevated as well. And then you're able to be connected to different people who you never thought you'd ever meet because they're on a different frequency. Yeah. Their bodies are on a different vibration. So the entire conversation about just consciousness in general, and what's our place in it, and how do we look at it, and how do we define it? It's just really simple. It's just everything starts from within yourself. And when you begin to empower yourself to open up and learn different things about yourself. When I mean things, different modalities, different gifts, different abilities that you have, then you can truly, truly observe the level of consciousness that you're displaying. And last thing, and I talked about this earlier when we were in the back office, psychedelics. And when you try psychedelics, a mushroom, whatever type of mushroom you're going to try, and you take the mushroom, obviously you need to have a monitor with you, and you are there, and then your body starts to act like it's a machine starting up, and you start to feel all these vibrations in your body, and then boop, you detach from the avatar and you're gone. That level of understanding that you can actually leave the body is an entirely different level of consciousness and ability. So, I mean, there are so many different ways we can attack that. I like to really, really keep it simple for the audience. There are a lot of technical terms I can use, but even in my book, Empowered by Consciousness, I try to be very, very straightforward and simple so that the average person can read it and say, "Man, I now understand that."
So something I talk about often, I think we can touch on, and you just mentioned it. I love Nikola Tesla's quote. If you want to unlock the secrets of the universe, you think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration. Now, what we started this podcast with is the idea of unlocking our true self, that, we all have unlimited, infinite potential. And most people, I feel, are functioning at like a minute percentage of their ability. And that's why people feel so stuck and are broke or health issues and that victim mentality. So, can we talk about if somebody is feeling stuck relationally, financially, mentally, in their health, that understanding energy, frequency, vibration, that thoughts become things, living mindfully and intentionally, you can completely change the trajectory of your life.
And the first thing you must do before we even get to that conversation is allow yourself to feel emotions.
Yeah.
You have to allow yourself to feel uh, the emotions of Heather. Heather called me and, Jason, I'm so upset with my boss. And well, Heather, I told you yesterday that you need to deal with it and know how your boss is. I didn't take the time to actually feel your emotions and understand. That is the key to unlock the intuitive ability, is to be able to feel. So that's the first thing. Once you're able to feel, then you unlock a whole nother level of intuitiveness. And the intuitiveness is your base floor to be able to understand frequency and energy and the things that it can do. For instance, vibration. If you think about a box fan that's rotating, just ooh. So you can see the fan, but you can see the fan rotating. If you turn it on high, you can see it, but it's going fast. If you turn it, let's say 1,000,000 times the speed, you won't really be able to see the fan. That's vibration, people. That's when your energy is spinning so fast that you can't see a thing, but you're still there. That's without the human body. Now you're vibrating at a higher level. But as we vibrate in the avatar, we begin to, there's a book called Angel Words by Doreen Virtue. And simple words of peace and love have energy. Words have energy. You just said that a minute ago, can help you raise your vibration.
Yeah.
And Doreen found out in the book, Angel Words, while she was audio recording the book, her son noticed when she said words like love, peace, happiness, excitement, the audio, the levels of the audio were just high. And when she said words like but, and I'm not sure, and he noticed that the audio levels were lower. And there was just this eerie comparison. He's like, Mom, look at this. Doreen said, aha, and wrote a book called Angel Words, a book full of high vibratory words. You can use words to increase your vibration, to increase your frequency. You can use foods to increase your vibration, to increase your frequency. If anybody that's a channeler or that has learned how to channel, one of the first things that a lot of the coaches tell you is, hey, you may want to adjust the way you eat. Now you can channel and get a connection. Some people just can have it naturally, But most of us, we want to eat high vibratory foods, like fruit, high yield vegetables, that vibrate a little high, live foods, not McDonald's, not Burger King. But so when we talk about our vibration and we talk about our frequency and our energy, there are just some few simple concepts we can do to really, really increase it. So what does it do for you, Jason? It attracts you to things that you want while you're manifesting. It allows you to manifest that much easier. It allows you to increase your intuitive abilities. It allows you to experience the subconscious mind and to actually hear it more than often when you go into a meditation or when you go into a prayer or when you go into some sort of modality that relaxes you.
Okay, here's what I'd love to talk about, this idea of I first heard it from Dr. Wayne Dyer, but Wayne Dyer said, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. And I don't believe in any of the woo-woo stuff, especially because I like the lens of quantum physics. So science is proving all of the quote woo-woo. Here's the thing about manifesting. We are all manifesting every single day. It's just whether or not you are living by default or by design. And the way it's described and how I understand quantum physics, the quantum field, that every potential we can imagine, an experience, a travel, a home, a relationship, a dollar amount, whatever, is, quote, on in the quantum field. And so how my mind pictures it is an Excel spreadsheet. And so if every potential is already made, right? Already available, it's us connecting to it. So I'd love to hear your perspective on manifesting and can you give a real world experience, how you've put this into play and how you're consciously creating your reality?
Well, I like that. The quantum field. Billy Carson likes to call it Christ consciousness.
Okay.
And everything that's ever happened, every idea, every food, every whatever has already been done. It's already there. And it's about raising your frequency to the level where you can download the information. Because I know you believe in downloads.
Yeah.
And that's how we get these ideas. That's how, you know what, I'm going to do this. No one's doing this. Well, it's been done, but now you elevated your frequency to a level to where you can see the vision and get the information and do it better than the others or do it in a version of the others. But I look at manifestation and that whole thing just as what you said, because when you think about it, words are powerful. Words are energy. And if you are spewing negativity all day long, that does not mean that you're not going to get what you want. You're going to absolutely get what you want, but this is going to be in that particular spectrum. That's the energy you'll bring back. Yep. That's the frequency that you're on. And Heather, there are millions of people on that same frequency. I mean, if you want drama every day, you want problems in your marriage, you want problems with your kids and raising your family, just keep on speaking negatively to your wife. Keep acting harshly to your employees. That's the realm that you will receive. And that is the law of attraction. And that's, you can manifest this with your words. But I like to always be positive. I really, really keep a close, tight watch on the words that I speak because I know they're powerful. I try to speak high vibratory words. I try to stay positive in a number of situations. I teach my clients the same thing. I try to always never hope, wish, pray that is really, I pray that it's going to happen. I never do any of that. I command it.
Yeah.
I finish all of my requests with, it is done.
Yep.
The strength and the power of what we really are. We're made of light and sound with the embrace of love wrapped around in this energy. Yeah. And that's what we are. We're powerful beings. We're powerful that energy that are having an experience in these avatars. And I treat it as such. Manifesting happens in a number of different ways. I love the water alchemy technique. And I keep saying Billy Carson because I follow him and I follow Joe Dispenza and all these guys, but the water alchemy technique with the premise that water holds memory. And they've got some scientific research out there that water is actually the memory bank for the earth. All the things that have happened, the memory is locked in the water. And so when you use the water alchemy technique and you you pour some water in a glass and you speak all the negative things that you're trying to get out of your life. I'm really bad at managing my money. I'm really, need to stop yelling at my wife. I really need to try to mend my relationship with my daughter. All these negative things in this water. And then once you've done that, you pour it in the other glass. Okay. And then you start to speak all the positive things. I'm a great money manager. My daughter and our relationship is wonderful. I do not speak negatively to my wife. I love my wife. And then you drink this water. Now you've already put this energy into this water. And trust me, our words are just, they move at like, our words carry energy. They move at light speed. It's a translation of energy that's going in frequency that's going into this water. And when you drink this water, our cells carry memory as well. And when this water coalesces with the cells in your body, you are more apt to, have some sort of revelation towards whatever it is you were trying to manifest. I tried this technique. I've tried it at least 2, 3, 4 times. It has always worked for me. I learned this technique in a workshop that I did. It was a manifesting workshop. I write about this technique in my book. It is absolutely wonderful. So there are a lot of different things I can talk about with manifestation, but the one thing is whatever you emit out, you will get it back, whether it's positive or negative, because we talked about the quantum field.
How I like to think about it, even, a lot of people talk about karma. Oh, karma's going to get you. Karma is, life is a boomerang. What you put out, good or bad, you get back, right? Yes. We're energetic beings. So through your thoughts and feelings, and that's why whether it's Neville Goddard or Dispenza, I've boiled it down to manifesting is actually very simple. That if you're focused on what you want and you feel the feelings of already having it, so gratitude, love, empowerment, joy, freedom, when you're continually in that cycle of thinking, feeling, then holy shit, step back and watch the universe surprise you. But I would love for you to give a tangible experience on how you've put these mindfulness practices and elevating your consciousness. What have you experienced and brought about in your life?
Okay, but let's go back. You said something that was just touched my soul. Okay. And I know you were mentioning that, hey, I'm starting to understand Dolores and I'm checking her out. But you said Neville Goddard. I'm the opposite. I just, recently started to listen to him and wow. Think about it. You and I are having this conversation about all these things. They've been doing this for years.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing that we can go back and look at brilliant people like Neville and just understand his work and what it really, really means, and it still resonates today. Right. But yeah, my own experiences with using frequency and how it has affected me. And listen, in mindfulness techniques, I wanted to sell my house. But I wanted a certain price, and the market was not that good. And this happened last year, and I write about this in my book. And I started off just like I would teach any other client. I started off with mindfulness techniques. I started off noticing the curvatures in the wall in the house, and standing in the middle of the floor of the house and just listening to the house itself, because the house is not made of brick and mortar and sheetrock and wood. That's what we think. The house is made of pure energy, because all of those items are energy. So just listening and listening to the listening to the furthest thing away from me, trying to hone in on it. And then after I do that 3 to 5 seconds, then I would focus on hearing the closest thing to me. Just creating more intuitiveness and more mindfulness in a relationship with this home. So I started out that way. And then secondly, I created a list of words that I would say every day that was positive. Oh yeah, I'll get 370,000. I think it was 80,000 somewhere in there. Oh, I'll get 370,000. Oh yeah, I mean it's easy. These people love these homes over here. And just in my mind, setting my intentions every day it was on the market. Um, and I would get a low ball offer. Like, man, that's pretty low, but this house is going to sell for 270,000. I mean 370,000. I know it will. I'm not sure what they're looking at, but yeah, 370,000. Just kept a positive, putting positive words in, and I was manifesting. I was using the 333 technique. I was doing it 3 times a day for 3 weeks. Send them 3 times each, 3 times a day for 3 weeks. You know, you got the 333 technique, you got the 555, and the 777, and all of them are accordingly. You know, so I was saying each one 3 times each, 3 times a day for 3 weeks in a row. And I kept repeating the 333 technique on these, what I knew to be true. And I would in the morning, I would do my meditation and I would command a sales price that I wanted. And I would say, it is done. And I would do this at minute 16. So I'm a transcendental meditator. And at minute 16, after a 20-minute meditation, I would then give God permission to intervene in my life. Because when we're in these avatars, we have free will. So you have to give permission for any sort of intervention to manifest. And that's how I was taught. Obviously, there are other ways to do it. I would give this permission to intervene, and then I would give additional instructions on what I wanted to happen. Now, I would send unconditional love energy to source, to my spirit guides, to the archangels, and to all the beings who are here incarnated to help me while I'm on this journey. I would end that every day, and then I would meditate again that evening, twice a day, transcendental meditation. All of these techniques I was doing every day was helping me become more and more elevated in my belief. It was helping me become more and more, my vibration to continue to rise, to continue to rise. And lo and behold, I sold that house for $370,000, the exact same price after there were maybe 3 lowball offers. Finally, it sold for that exact same price. And that was an incredible price for houses in that particular area because it would have been the highest highest value that sold on that street. It touched me so much so I wrote about it in the book. And yeah, that's my personal experience on how, I elevated myself and used mindfulness and directly targeted my frequency and my vibration. And one more thing I forgot, Heather, and I should, man, come on, is I always ground before I move into any of these modalities. And grounding is good because when you put your foot flat on the ground, and the way I was taught was to imagine the roots of the earth coming up through the hills, dispersing nourishment throughout the body, energy throughout the body, so that you can feel connected to Mother Earth, Gaia. And once I did that, then I would move into all these different things I spoke about. But I'm sorry I missed that on our previous conversations. But I ground every single time before I institute any kind of modality.
Here's what I'm going to offer, and that's great. That's a lot of steps, and again, whoever you follow, manifesting. Abraham Hicks says that it's as easy to manifest a castle as it is a button. So if somebody is new to this and they're in the steps and needing to create, first of all, clarity and confidence and belief, start with $5. I call them experiments, and that's how I detach from the outcome. I'm not forcing and manipulating and trying to make it happen. I get clear on what I want. I feel as though it's already done, and then I freaking get excited. And I do this all the time because I have a lot of fun with it. So here's what I want to ask you, because especially in this space and doing what we're doing, it's the idea of being mindful and intentional throughout the day. So I would love to hear from you. What are some of your daily rituals or practices that you are doing to keep yourself in this energetic space, intentional? consciously creating?
Just, I follow some of the words that are in Doreen Virtue's book, Angel Words. I try to insert those words in my vocabulary on a daily basis. Love, thank you, hey, I appreciate you, hey, you mean a lot to me,
Yeah.
hey, how are you doing today, hey, you're so beautiful, hey, thanks a lot, how was your day? I try to keep high vibrating words just a part of my vocabulary every day. Secondly, I spend time with me. I spend time with me, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm an accomplished meditator. So, but for people out there, maybe it's just 5 minutes. Just close off the outside noise and just spend that small amount of time.
Yeah.
Thirdly, I always, Heather, I visualize my butt off. I mean, I have a number of visualization audios that I use in my hypnotherapy for different clients. But Heather, when I want something, just like you said, hey, $5, it's just as simple as your intention. And it is. And I love Abraham. And they have some of the most, and Neville Goddard, they have some of the most simple manifestation techniques. And I may have been long winded on mine, but simple. But one of the most simple things I go about every day, I'm visualizing something, Heather, something. And what I was taught was don't just say, I'm going to get a new car and I'm visualizing this car. No, visualize it. You went to the dealership, you sat down with the guy, you saw what color you wanted, you sat in the car, you turned the key, you looked in the back seat, you got out, you opened the trunk. You came back the next day, you sat down and filled the paperwork out, you bought the car, you drove it, you were rich to the radio, you was on the cell phone. So I try to really visualize it all the way through in my free time, exactly what I want. And it may be something smaller than that, but I try to do that on a daily basis. And you find yourself in such a wonderful place. People will call you. There's always going to be somebody who's like, she's cool, but what is she doing? I mean, I heard her show. And it's like, what is she really doing? I mean, has anybody called to check on her? There are always going to be the distractors, the naysayers on whatever technique you're trying to use, on whatever message you're trying to convey. But we cannot let those who don't understand or may not be called to these beautiful experiences that you've discovered to help bring, change to your life or to help filter in things that you want in your life. And so I always just, try to, be mindful and I'm aware. And I try to be aware of just the little things every day. When I walk into the kitchen, I cut the light on, I look at the light and I try to see how many different directions is it expanding to. And the dark areas in the kitchen and the light areas in the kitchen. Just very simple things that, obviously, like you and I, we've been looking at this stuff for a long time and studying it. But for that average person, it's the little small things of just noticing things around you, setting your intentions on exactly what you want, visualizing it, casually throughout the day, inserting words that are high vibratory as much as you can in your vocabulary and set your intentions. And that's what I would say to that.
I love that. I want to ask you this, just, with the time that we have left, we've touched on a lot of different things today. I want to ask you, what do you believe is a key takeaway you want listeners to get?
I just want, I want to urge people to recognize their potential, irrespective of your past. And, I want you to march confidently towards, a brighter purpose, a brighter future that you have in front of you.
Yeah.
I just want you to understand that consciousness is something that you are in control of. You can grow your consciousness. It's not some witchcraft. It's just a part of who you are. 200 years from now, this will be everyday conversation. Science is already unveiling that a lot of the things that you and I are talking about today, they're already unveiling that there's a lot of truth to this. But 200 years from now, this will be just like everyday stuff. So I want to leave that with the audience. Just use these moments and listen to podcasts like Heather's to try to figure out ways that you can help improve your life.
I love that. All right. I'd love to wrap up the interview. So I have a few rapid fire questions for you.
Okay, let's
What
go.
what is a quote or motto that you live by?
Um, Most people have a mindset coach, and they do very, very well. They do. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Most people do very, very well for themselves. Very, very, well in business or whatever. But what they won't tell you is that they have a mindset coach. That's one of the quotes I live by right there.
Okay. What is a book you're currently reading or highly recommend?
Empowered by Consciousness. I highly recommend that book. It is out. That's a book that I just wrote, and it's been out for a day. So I highly recommend reading that book for the spiritually curious, about the inner power you possess, and the universe in general, and things that are a part of us as human beings.
Final question. What advice would you give your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to embrace emotion.
Mm.
Had I embraced emotion earlier, I would be able to do God knows what. But I would tell my younger self, hey, listen, embrace emotion early. It's okay to feel. It's
Yeah.
okay to be tough. Embrace emotion.
Yes, I love that. And such a great note to end on. Jason, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate being on.